You know, it's crazy when you think about different areas of the country and their influence on different styles of fishing. I mean, Alabama and Texas have both driven innovation in bass fishing, you know, across the board with chatterbaits or, you know, whatever it is. How is South Florida responsible for some of DOA's success?
No doubt. You know, being raised really targeting saltwater trout, you know, spotted trout a lot and fishing redfish, and then learning finesse like I did. And gentlemen, I banged nails for a bunch of years when I worked my way through school. Well, actually, I quit school so that I could continue my business, you know, pretending like I was going to fish. And I ended up doing it, so it worked. But, you know, I learned how to carve. And I started carving baits. And I carved my shrimp. And then I figured out that I started making like Bondo, made a Bondo female of a wood piece. And then I popped that out. And then I made like 50 Bondo plugs. And then I went to a taxidermist that pulled plastic, you know, did plastic, and I put them all down there and got them to pull shrink on them. And then I had my female molds. And then I meticulously cut them out to the contour of the bottom of the shrimp. And then when I first started, I literally was gluing legs on, and I had a 200-pound mono, and I would melt both ends of it, cut them 1 inch, and then make the eyeballs, put them through there. I figured I probably lost about a bucket.
Were you just doing them were you doing them commercially at that point?
I was doing a commercial.
That's a lot of work. Right?
And then, and then I started making my own injection equipment, and I started using polyvinyls. And I still do some prototyping with some silicone, you know, where I can do something pretty quick. And, but these days, the innovations, not just in fishing, but in mold building and such like that, you know, we may see in our lifetime where all these young people now are buying the 3D printers. You
can make a crankbait on your printer in your house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the evolution is becoming more and more intense, and like you've talked about as a guide, and I've always promoted, is that the technology is getting better. There's more pressure, and there's more pressure on the fish from their environmental issues. So to appreciate the fishery, catch them, let them go. It's very important, like we talked earlier, you know, how to release the trout and that sort of thing.
Get them the next day.
Very important.
There's some fish that are okay to take because they have rapid reproduction.
Of course.
Mahi.
Right.
You know, breed a couple times a year and they migrate. But your resident fish.
The fish that I want to catch is the big fish. That would not be my first choice to eat.
Right.
My theory is I want to eat the young.
Look at the success in the largemouth bass fishery across the country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
exactly.
It's not known, but it's the national game fish.
Oh, big time.
You know, people still eat them, but the majority of people are looking to catch.
Absolutely, catch and release them.
And they take great efforts to do that.
Yeah, they do.
So if there was a person out there who says, man, I have an idea for a lure. How does someone even, and whatever kind of lure, how does someone even start the process of taking a drawing, an idea, and turning that into what would be their life's passion?
You know, I did it with stubbornness, determination, and I could afford to be broke because I wasn't married and didn't have kids. So I was broke for like 3 years. It's, you know, poorer than dirt. I ate some fish then. And
you enjoyed what you were doing.
But I loved what I was doing, and I started getting some really good press. I fished my rear end off every day and caught really big snook, really big trout. And I was able to share that with folks from Texas and Louisiana. And so, you know, it's kind of a word of mouth. Of course, because of my evolution we were talking about, you know, I started throwing, you know, fly rod and 4-pound mono for brook trout in a stream. So suddenly I brought that lighter technology when I started making my shrimp. I was used to throwing much lighter stuff than what I was born here. You were using big clunky stuff. So when I made my shrimp, it really lent itself to spin much better than baitcaster because it's too light.
And that shrimp drove a lot of people to scale down on their old heavy action redfish rods.
It made people realize there's a bit different way to do it.
Right.
And finally, you know, years and years and years, you go to a tackle shop, and if you're a goober or a novice, you go in and they sell you something that you could catch a tuna with to go catch a trout. Yeah. You're like going, they're not going to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're here to appreciate the fishery, enjoy fooling them, having a good time. all that
Awesome.
good stuff. Blah blah blah.
Let's go fishing.
I know. I'm like, okay, the
I see
water's
my
really
rod sitting back
beautiful.
there. Good.
Lee's casting over
I'm
there.
watching him over there doing stuff, and it's getting me like, we got time for this talking later.